Alright, what's up, Dragon Brood? Or maybe new faces, because I've been hearing a lot of people are getting tired of Hearthstone and maybe even other card games and are looking into playing Magic the Gathering Arena. That being the case, I figure it's about time we do an updated, kinda all you need to know about playing Arena sort of video. Let's get into it and make our new friends welcome. Now, there are a couple of quick things to note. If you play something like Hearthstone, you're used to having very small decks. Well, in Magic, that's going to be 60 cards instead, and you will include your resources in the deck, and you're not just going to get them free every turn. So that's something you might need to know. And also, Magic isn't as random as you get with something like Hearthstone. It's kind of closer to Pokemon in a way and how the decks are built. Unless you want to play Alchemy, but between you and me, a lot of Magic players don't like Alchemy. So it's whatever you want to do. Just wanted to put that out there. But speaking of which, if you want to know more about the game and figure out the rules and how stuff works, it has a really good tutorial and I recommend everybody do that. Partly because it'll get you caught up to speed on what's going on, but additionally they have these things called color challenges you can do that will take you through each color and then the specifics. And once you're done with all of that, you actually get a lot of extra free cards just added to your collection for just taking the time to learn the game, which seems like a really cool bonus. Now, once you've gone through all of those tutorials, Magic actually has a lot of ways to play, and that can be a little bit overwhelming at first, but the most popular ones tend to be Standard, which is kind of like the most recent sets, and that's probably where you want to get started if you're going to play what we call constructed formats, or basically preparing a deck to come play. Then they also have limited formats as well, where you can play Sealed, which isn't as frequent, and booster drafts, where you can draft against bots or against actual people, and it's a way to kind of build up collection, learn some cards, and you can kind of play Magic without actually having to bring a deck to the table first. Now, there is going to be somewhat of a time or cost investment in something like Standard because you have to build a deck, and Draft does have a cost to at least get into the drafts, but you can win cards, other packs, and even gold that can actually, or gems actually, that can help you pay for other things in Arena, so you can still play for free. It's just a little bit of a grind like most free-to-play games. However, there is a really cool option here that they have that can let you just play dual challenges with starter decks. And this is actually something that's really neat while you're learning the game. They're kind of low power decks that you start with and you get to play against other players, and you can still earn rare cards from doing so, and those don't even have an entry fee at all. And then you can play something like the jump end events that actually only costs 1,000 gold, and we'll tell you how to get gold here in a second. And the cool part about those is you actually get free cards effectively by going in and selecting 2 different decks, and then you just get to keep those, and then you can even get a small reward of an extra uncommon. The reward isn't huge, but it's a very low cost to get your hands on a bunch of extra cards. Now, the easiest way to collect gold is going to be through your daily challenges. You get on every day and you'll see different challenges on the bottom. When you start, I believe there's 1, and then a couple get added every day, so until you have 3 at any given time. And you just get to do the simple task and collect the gold. And that's actually not a bad deal, and they're not too hard to meet. Most of them are attack with so many creatures, or kill so many things from opponents, or even just cast so many spells of a single color. Pretty easy to do. Just note that these have to be done against other actual opponents and not just against Sparky, which is the test bot. Now, along with the daily challenges, we do actually have the opportunity to get extra gold from just getting wins every day. Now, you can get gold for up to 15 wins, however, that can take a lot of time. What I recommend is trying to get a minimum of 4 wins a day. This is going to get you at least 550 extra gold, which is super awesome because you're likely going to also complete one of your daily quests while you're in there getting those 4 wins. This means that you're going to easily be able to get over 1,000 gold a day, sometimes as much as 1,200 to 1,500 gold a day, which is awesome because the average pack only costs you 1,000 gold. So it's a very easy way to build up a collection while just getting on and doing basic things like playing the game and getting some wins. Now, while Magic the Gathering Arena is a free-to-play game, there are things you can purchase, of course, like most games. Now, that's often going to be packs more than anything else, but you can get some really good deals when you first start. I would recommend getting the Welcome Bundle, which is $4.99, and it comes with 2,500 gold and 5 packs. That's going to be the best deal you're going to get, and it's a one-time purchase, so I recommend everybody pick that up. Additionally, each season has what we call a Mastery Pass. It costs roughly about $20 US, and it actually gives you a lot of return on your investment. You'll get a lot of extra gold and gems and packs, and even some cosmetics. It gives you a lot for that money, and it gives you a reward for just getting in and doing what you already do anyway. A lot of people recommend this being the one thing they get every 3 to 4 months in the game, and even if you're free to play, that's not too big of an investment if you want to spend something. Now, something to note that's different than something like Hearthstone is there's not really a dusting or crafting system. In Magic the Gathering Arena, we use what's called wild cards, and these can basically be any rarity, and you just use a rare wild card to make a rare card, or maybe a mythic wild card if you want to make a mythic card you don't have. Now, how do you earn these? There's a few different ways. You can get them through events, you can get them through opening packs, and honestly, they're not too hard to come by, but if you're trying to spend a lot at once or build multiple decks, it can be a little bit of a choke point, if you want to call it that. Now, they do have the ability to just buy wild cards. However, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it unless you absolutely just need the last 1 to 4 cards to finish out a deck and then go ahead and spend it. But it's very pricey and not something most people spend their money on. Another convenient thing about wild cards, especially for the rares and mythics, which are the ones you're going to want the most, is that you can get those for free by just opening packs that you purchase with your daily gold. Every 6 gets you another wild card that's going to be either rare or mythic. And then on top of that, by buying all those packs, once you buy 10 packs, you also get what they call golden packs now that are basically just loaded with rare and mythic cards to fill in your collection. And speaking of which, we should address that too. Because the way Magic's designed, you never need more than 4 of a card. Well, if you go over 4, then you're going to get what they call gems, or all those extra 5th, 6th, 7th copies you would open. Now, it does have some type of protections built in, so you won't open that many of them in most cases, but just something to note, if you ever see one of those pop up, it probably means what you were going to open is something you already had a complete set of in your collection. Now, when it finally comes time to build a deck, you probably want to build something off of one of the starter decks as a starting point. I guess that's why they're called starters, and it's usually going to be something you've already learned that you like or you enjoy. And you can search around the internet, even on my channel where we play tons of different standard decks, and you can start finding cards that you want to replace things with, because they're not going to be great in the beginning, but it's pretty easy to find resources to understand what cards are going to be better filling in slots in your favorite decks. And the best part about Magic is that there are tons of resources, websites, tons of creators making content, so you should have no problem finding a deck you enjoy, or at least that fits your preferred playstyle. Now, here's another fun thing about Magic, especially on Arena, that you don't have in a lot of other card games, and that's a pretty robust, what we would call tier 2 system for competitive play. Now, if you're used to seeing anything in Hearthstone or similar games, you kind of are at the top and then there's nothing for everybody else. But Magic the Gathering Arena actually has ladder rankings that matter. If you finish near the top, you actually qualify for qualifier tournaments, fittingly, at the end of the month and at the end of a season that can qualify you for the Magic Arena Championships. This gives you a chance to qualify for the World Championships and also for individual Pro Tour events, where you can win very large sums of cash. Speaking of which, even if you're not a very serious competitive player, maybe you only have one afternoon to play, quarterly they do these other events called the Arena Opens, and you can win up to $2,000 for just playing on your computer for 2 days. Yeah, that's real. So they're giving average people a chance to win real money, and I've even been lucky enough to get some. So it is a real thing. So if you're not super competitive or you don't have the time to spend, you can still have a chance at the money that's being given away for these different events. Now, obviously, all of that is the top level view, but there is a lot of nuance to things like deck building or how you just generally want to approach the game, or even competitive play. There's so many different levels to a lot of things in Magic, and that's why we love it. But if you want more information, I do actually have another playlist, and that'll get you started down the right path with a bunch of other tips. So I'll have you for now. We'll see you next time.